Demonic portals are opening up worldwide. We're going to get into the occult symbolism of the gateway opening up worldwide. The Zach Brown Band just did a ritual that's being promoted by the mainstream media. Zach Brown risks losing his audience as Vegas Fear shows sparks of satanic ritual claims. Now, this is just a promotion, so more tickets will sell. I don't believe this was a satanic ritual. I think it goes more into a portal gateway ritual, kind of like what we see at CERN, where they open up the portals and they do that big type of ritual, because it's definitely in the symbolism. Now, we're going to get into it about the 47-year-old singer. Now, 47 is going to play a big role in the numerology of this occult ritual. That's also tied into other artists like Taylor Swift, who's also in the news right now, and Stranger Things. Stranger Things is viral on Netflix while this story's being viral at the Sphere, and it all ties in to the gateways, the gateway portals. So this perspective over here on the channel where we're unlocking these secrets, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, share out the video, because this is some information that's just going to dive a little more deep than what the mainstream does. We're going to break down the symbolic ritual of how it starts with the door of perception. Now, this is just a cell phone filming it. I would like to actually uncover the entire ritual. Now, give me a like if you can hear this okay. I see people are up in here while we continue. But it enters the door. The door is the gateway, and it goes into the key, unlocking the secrets into this kid, right? This child, which is the exact same symbolism that we see in the gateway portal of the child in the bed in Stranger Things as well, while she's trying to escape the prison that Vecna or Harry or whoever is locked her into this prison that she lives in. And this also goes deep into the Mandela effect and the cosmos being a computational computer program in a sense. We'll get into that as well. But it starts off right away with the door. The door has the Knights Templar double cross of Lorraine. So right there, it's invoking some symbolism. And also the red door. You might have seen this red door in big films like The Sixth Sense. Oh, snap. You don't even see what I'm showing. My bad. I don't know how far back I went where I was showing stuff, but it starts off with the red door. The red door having the Knights Templar symbolism of the double cross. You're about to get double crossed. And the red door being in movies like Sixth Sense, showing that's where the place of the dead lives. Very symbolic. The doors are the gateways, the Babylon type portals to the other dimension that is not, you're not supposed to go to that dimension. Right here, it's even showing some portal symbolism at the live concert. Like I said, I want to see the entire ritual in full length. Entering the keyhole, unlocking the secrets. Here's the Stranger Thing. It's the exact same thing with the kid on the bed, just like Stranger Things. Now you got to understand that these rituals aren't just at the Sphere. It's also on Netflix through your Black Mirror of your television or your phone reading these articles. Just like I exposed the strange symbols appearing at these concerts. We've been covering concerts here on the channel, from Travis Scott to the Las Vegas incident that happened on the 32nd floor. Here's Beyonce with the Renaissance, with the horse symbolism, Doja Cat with the air symbolism, and Taylor Swift, who's also big in the news right now. And I was showing, which kind of, went under the radar, kind of slept on, but they were doing the Tria Prima, an alchemical symbolism, mixing the three primes during the concert as they were all performing at the same time. And this was to get into the female psychology, into their soul, in a sense, into their psyche, for a type of ritual. And then Bad Bunny, he'll be playing a big role for the upcoming ritual. Here's Isaac Weishaupt, shout out to Isaac, showing how Bad Bunny even has this alchemical symbolism tattooed on him. So, I mean, it dives very deep with the different numbers, the symbols, and even the square, the pyramid, and the four being out of the square, the foot entering into the gateway, also dives very, very deep. But this is how they have the three different things going on, and it's the Tria Prima. As you can see, the symbols line up to it as they're performing. So when we're seeing shows like Stranger Things and Zac Brown Band being promoted by the mainstream news, calling it a satanic ritual, these satanic rituals actually get more views. More people will start paying for it. It kind of goes into the death instinct psychologically. But the symbolism of the portal is what I think is so interesting as we're coming up on Saturnalia. Saturn is Kronos, and Kronos was the Bell project that, the National Socialists were working on with this UFO. And this is coming out of the research I've been doing over on the Patreon on the Akasha Files, studying this book, Closer Encounters, which I've released the full documentary of me reviewing the book. So please go, if you like this information. It helps out a lot when you guys go subscribe. Appreciate it. Devlin, thank you so much for the super chat, saying much love from Sudbury, Ontario, Canada. Let me some donut. Also feed that kitty cat. Thank you. You're way, way too kind. Appreciate that so much. Very, very kind of you. Thank you, Devlin. He's a member on the channel, so he's probably seen this video that we've been covering. But here is the book which we've been reading over there, and the Kecksburg UFO incident, which was this Bell UFO. The Die Glock was called Project Tor, T-O-R, before it was called the Die Glock. And these UFOs are like a time-traveling portal type technology. So Tor means the gateway or doorway or portal in German. So it was Project Portal. It was the Portal Project. And even in the show of Philip K. Dick, The Man in High Castle, they enter a frickin' portal, and that's the exact same location as the Bell UFO during the Kecksburg UFO incident. So Kronos is about time. Stranger Things is about time. Vecna has all the time in the world. If you're watching Stranger Things, I haven't done a breakdown on it yet, but the way that Vecna moves is very gangsta. Vecna, he's probably my favorite character in Stranger Things. I mean, the guy is the ultimate anti-hero. And he just moves slowly. He's patient. He's not in such a hurry, unlike the, Secret Society and the Hellspire Club and Stranger Things. I'm being funny, just giving a different opinion. But Vecna, he moves slowly. He has all the time in the world because he is very connected to Father Time, which is Kronos, which is Saturn and whatnot. So even the world ahead showed the importance of Father Time, which would be Christmas time. It would be Saturnalia, if we're going back to the symbology of it. And I could even show you, I've posted videos years ago on the occult Christmas and how it's tied into Saturn and other stuff. But the world ahead showed us Saturn being at the top during this conjunction. And it even talked about the $1 trillion. And look, it says Saturn, 1 trillion, one is A. So it's literally spells out Saturn. This also was slept on. But showing the time running out, time has something massive to do with the rituals of 2025 as we enter the astrological period of Uranus entering Gemini. Yes, Uranus is going to enter Gemini, which is sort of why we're seeing a lot of stuff. I'm going to get into it with gambling, how people have been promoting gambling lately. That's because they want to drain your loosh and also hit you where it hurts in your pockets, in your wallet, as we have been in a recession for a while now. So the Zac Brown Band opening song at the Sphere in Las Vegas, I'm only showing a few images of this with this video. This video, I got to watch the entire ritual, but you can see that it was very symbolic. And then everyone freaks out and they're just like, it's red, so it's satanic, even though they don't even know, like, red is not satanic, and having a red door isn't satanic either. It actually goes back to the scriptures with the angel of death. So we'll kind of get into that, but it's invoking a lot of stuff. And I just see the double cross of Lorraine being very, prevalent there. Oh, thank you. Apache Flaky 777 says Donald works hard, y'all. Thank you. I do work hard. I appreciate that. But I'm passionate. So if you're passionate about something, you could spend 12-hour days working, and this is what I love to do. So, but we enter the portal, we enter the gateway where the child is there. And this symbolism of the gateway and the portal, I can't stress it enough how important it is. And starting it off like that, thinking about the audience entering the portal. The audience is actually entering the portal from outside the door. So technically, the audience is the satanic ones. That's freaking deep. And then there's the kid. He plays the Zac Brown Band music. Zac Brown, who I've actually seen perform live during the Great Recession, and they did a pretty damn good job. I like the song about the fried chicken. I like my chicken fried. Cold beer on Friday night. Pair of jeans that fit just right. Hey, I wonder if they're part of the genetic ritual with the genes that are fitting just right. Maybe. But anyway, they also played a Rage Against the Machine song, which I thought was cool. How you got this country band, playing Rage Against the Machine. But anyway, they're showing the red as they enter. And also, as we're entering the portal, there is a woman screaming. I'll play that clip real quick, but none of the music. So you can hear her. She's like, it's a woman screaming and crying. So they're screaming out, and that wasn't coming from the audience. I don't think. I think that didn't sound like it was coming from the audience. As the audience is in where the stars are at, and you can even see some of the constellations kind of when you gaze at it drawn out. I'm going to screenshot this so I can actually add it into the research folder and do some contrasting, because it'd be interesting to see what kind of constellations they're pointing out there. As you can see, the brightest stars in the middle would be the dot connecting stars for what they're showing us. And then it cuts to the kid, and he's holding a blade. He's holding a shank. So this is a kind of evil spirit entering them, which is the audience in a sense. And he's freaked out, and then it goes into his eyeball. And his eyeball is the portal, and it goes into what everyone's calling hell. It's like the underworld. And like I said, this is a cell phone filming it. And then he walks up to the door of the double cross of the Knights Templars. And then the band starts to play, the Zac Brown band. Now, Zac Brown, he's wearing this sort of weird, luminescent, glowing crown as they immerse themselves into the fire. And this crown that he's wearing is matching with another skeleton, which everyone's calling the devil. Now, I believe that goes into very deep symbolism as well. Here's the angel of death, going back to the scriptures, the Torah, the Bible. I don't know if it's in the Bible. I don't know, but I know about the angel of death right here. Yeah, I guess it is. Exodus 12:23. It goes into the angel of death. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to tie this into how this is actually connected to the portals. I just showed you the intro and the ritual, right? We can see that it is very symbolic. But how is this tied into portals? Okay, there's some holes, holes and poles. There's the portals there, sure. This ritual went down on December 5th. December 5th is an occult ritualistic day for portals. Why? Because in the portal of the Bermuda Triangle, which was called the Sargasso Sea back in the 14 times, the Bermuda Triangle is where there is a portal in the ocean. We only know about 5% of the ocean, and on land, this portal would be at Skinwalker Ranch. So Flight 19, which is the AI, Flight 19 disappeared into the portal on December 5th, the day that the Zac Brown band performed this portal ritual. We even have shows like Twilight Zone Flight 33 talking about these portals. And December 25th leaves 26 days until the end of the year. I'm sure that is symbolic, as 26 is connected to God. There's 26 letters in the alphabet. And so you could see right here, December 5th. Okay, that's one example of a portal ritual. What else happened on December 5th that's connected to portals? Well, that's when Nelson Mandela died on December 5th as well. And you have the famous Mandela effect, right? The Mandela effect is a phenomenon where we get these false memories because of the time traveling manipulation happening. So Nelson Mandela died December 5th. And the Mandela effect is like the most known frickin' portal. So right there alone, I believe that this is definitely connected to the frickin' portal rituals. Matt Stokelek says, when is winter's first day? I believe that's on the 21st, right? I believe that would be the winter solstice, right? We're talking about the winter solstice rituals. I believe it's all kind of interconnected to the winter solstice rituals for sure. But I believe it's the 21st. Thank you for that question. Yeah, on the Fritz 67 says it's the 21st as well. And I'll play a little bit of the occult Santa Claus too here later, because that's all kind of connected to it. But we've been in a recession, And UNLV forecasts suggest that Las Vegas tourism could rebound in 2026. Now, Las Vegas, whenever it's hit with an economic crisis, that expands to the whole world. It's sort of a canary in the coal mine, what goes on in Vegas. And they've been in the recession. Not only are they, but there's even, I can just see it all around. The echoes of 2008 is been here, but it's not like a financial crash where it's instant and everybody's broke instantly. It's sort of like the credit crunch in Japan, where it took 30 freaking years for a recovery. So that's what I believe is happening, kind of like Vecna moving slowly. You know, I like to move slowly because everybody is so impatient all the time. And congratulations to you for watching long form content. The shorter the clips, I do these test runs on the social media. I'll make a clip intentionally to be dumbed down and make it like 5 seconds long or whatever. And where I'm just like, look, this is evil. And that's it. Millions of views. Then you put together something with reading books and whatever, like this book that I just read. It took an entire quarter to read the book and then edit it and then put it up for the documentary. But it is awesome. But who's going to spend, 3 months reading a book? Not a lot of people, but y'all will, and y'all here getting wicked smart with us. So I very much congratulate you, because the society that we have entered into, which is this portal of the cell phone, people can't just chill and sit and just kick it. So if you could just sit and kick it and even like just meditate or just chill for just literally just read a book, doesn't even have to be a good book, you're going to be so much more advanced than pretty much the entire population. And let's not forget that the entire population was illiterate and wasn't allowed to read. That was illegal to read, to get wicked smart. So we get wicked smart. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Nicole Lewis. JK1BJ sent $7 super chat. Now let's feed that kitty cat. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. And Chan appreciates that as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if the portals are activated at CERN, as we did see the CERN rituals go down. Like the guy who created the Big Son particle or came up with the idea freaking died when on like CERN's birthday or something. I have the slide up to refresh my memory about the CERN sacrifice. April 8th. Oh, this is also the day that Lam was summoned, because Lam is very connected to the gateway as well. So the gateways and the portals and the doors are the doors of perception. So I can't understate how important the doors are, not just the band, but symbolically. So the man who proposed the God particle, which was discovered at CERN, dies on the eclipse when CERN was reactivated. So it wasn't on its birthday, but they freaking turned up the notches at CERN, which is what Stranger Things is about. And the guy who came up with this idea freaking dies on the eclipse. Now, there's more than just the portal being open in the Sargasso-Bermuda trapezoid, but also in the minds of the masses. Oh my goodness, we got probably one of the biggest super chats ever. Snyder family T4G says, yo, donut. Gotta feed that kitty baby. That is very, very kind of you. Let's feed that kitty cat. Thank you. That was a very, very kind of you. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. Thank you. These portals are also used as gateways of the doors of perception. The doors of perception with these MK Ultra LSD trips that we're seeing over at Palantir, where Alex Karp is tripping out on some sort of psychedelic. Let's play that clip real quick.
Hopefully I'm annoying you as much as 10 years ago, or more. When I made you know this, yeah. Every decision Palantir made, FDA.
So what's happening here is just a subtle nudge of just more promotion of the psycho belief system altering chemicals that have been pushed by the military industrial complex of Silicon Valley and other influencers in the mainstream media, the Joe Rogans of the world and whatnot, push these psychedelic stuff just like they did with Timothy Leary, who Timothy Leary wanted to go to the next level with the psychedelics and tripping into the cyberdelics, which cyberdelics will be a huge thing. And we probably already tripping on them right now. And this was the next frontier of the psychedelic journey, was the cyberdelics. Timothy Leary, the advocate for the psychedelic drugs use, who became the cult figure of the hippies, connected to Harvard in the same type of institutions that Jordan Peterson is connected to. But you see, there's the chaos and the order. So that was more chaotic. And then Jordan came in to bring the order, and it's beyond the order. It's very symbolic. But the tune in and drop out was going to turn into turn on, boot up, and jack in. Turn on, tune in, drop out, and jack in. So this goes into the gateways. And even says right here, the Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. Counterculture era phrase popularized by Leary in 1966. Leary spoke at the Human Being at gathering 30,000 hippies at the Golden Gate Park. So the gateway is also hijacking this nervous system, being addicted to the cell phones and the nudgings and whatever. And I know this is a sensitive topic to people. I even wrote this. This is a sensitive topic. I know people love their belief-changing, mind-altering chemicals. People believe that. This information is simply asking the question, why does J.P. Morgan, and I wonder if frickin' Piers Morgan is part of the Morgan family who funded the Third Reich. The banking propagandists want you to take them. Why is this? MK Ultra. Yeah, so I mean, I've covered this. Y'all know we've covered this, and I've told y'all to stay away from it. But it's being nudged and promoted by the billionaires and the elites and the smart people, right? Like, oh, I can do this. That's what people think. People think that like y'all could like do this. No, it's not gonna work. Not gonna work. I don't know. But so that's another door of perception, another gateway portal. And even the doors of perception by Aldous Huxley, who Julian Huxley coined the term transhumanism. You can see the door symbolism. This is where the band The Doors got their name, but you can see it's going into a portal. And that portal is also the womb. So it goes to this prehistoric type of thinking of returning to the womb. That's why you got all the truthers wanting you to go back to nature. Really, they just want you to go back to the womb psychologically because they are scared. And so right here is just some images of the documentary I created of Terrence McKenna, who coined the term machine elves, I believe, who was actually seeing these different entities. And people who do see these entities, like this chick, which was his girlfriend who had a near-death experience, these people who see these freaking entities, they're getting freaking the R word happen to them by different reptilians and machine elves. They're not supposed to be there. So the portals are not just during the Zac Brown concert here, but also they're in the freaking ocean as well, in like Skinwalker Ranch. And we kind of go into that with the Sargasso Sea, which I'd like to play a couple clips of it because I work so hard on this program. I just said hard on this program, that I want to at least share some of it with you. And if you're interested in watching the pretty much the 3-hour documentary, please go become a member on the YouTube channel. For some reason, YouTube is monetized me for super chats and advertisements and memberships. So you can do that now. But if you go to the Patreon, that's a even better way to support. But let me play a couple clips of the Sargasso Sea and this. Bermuda Triangle. Charles Fort referred to the Bermuda Triangle by its old name, the Sargasso Sea. So the ocean and where the portal is. So I'm going to play a clip from the new documentary. Go watch it right now. Tricks of Time. Project Kronos was the name named after. Yeah, I'm going to fast forward it. I kind of already told y'all about the Project Kronos doorway. The Mandela effect. Let me see. Okay, right here. I'm from the future. Feasible in the way that Philip K. Dick thought was possible. Philip K. Dick confessed that he did not make up all of his novels. He claimed that some of his novels were based on memories, alternate timeline, déjà vu, clues one into a change in the timeline. The alternate timeline memory phenomenon that Dick was referring to has now been dubbed the Mandela effect. Alternate timeline memories, including others where people who are supposed to be dead are living and vice versa. This Mandela effect is an experience of having some level of paranormal awareness of the past, as it has been before it changed by one or another instance of time travel. Dick believed that such edits were indicative of our living in a simulation. However, a simulation is a simulacrum of something that is more real than this world. Instead, we could simply be living in a computational cosmos. The first scientist, as we said, was Conrad Zuse, who proposed this possibility. Is the Mandela effect a glitch in this matrix? Here's the scene of the glitch in the matrix in the Matrix movie. It's like your brain says, wait, haven't we done this already? But you know that's impossible. Even Plato spoke about deja vu because your soul remembers something from a past life, he believed. Thank you so much, LollyB23D8C, for the $4 super chat, super sticker. Appreciate that very, very much. So as you can see, that we be going deep on that, and I want to show y'all more of it. It's freaking nuts. We get into the octopus, the mantids, the owls. As y'all know, I cover the Illuminati dolphin, and I have a obsession of studying the different Illuminati animals. We went on the deep dive of the dolphins with John C. Lilly, who was funded by the government, and it is connected to the disclosure kind of stuff with the aliens, where John C. Lilly was telepathically communicating with the the dolphins, doing the different kind of hallucinogens and somatic touching. So they would talk to the whales, and then they would go communicate that information down to Atlantis. So Atlantis plays a huge role in this occult stuff. I'm so tripped out. Even the Thule Society, which was idiomatically the Atlantis Society, which is these aristocrats who created the rise of the third realm. This is the same stuff is why we're seeing so much National Socialism pushed in America and worldwide, is because fractions of this deep state is like aligned with it all. It's pretty nuts. And we just got another huge super chat from Apache Flacky 777. That is very, very kind of you. Thank you. The kitty cat is going to definitely get wicked fat and wicked smart right there. Appreciate that. That means just so much. So the Thule Society, I think it's also correlated, which I left out accidentally on the documentary, to Cthulhu etymology wise. Look, I'm on my journey to get wicked smart. I am not wicked smart, but I'm on my journey to get there. And I just had so much fun. This is probably one of the funnest projects that I worked on, working on this this book and researching it. So let's maybe go to another clip from the documentary of and line it up to something that's actually in the news now. They found a skull that is like a cube skull. Someone's skull is a cube. I don't know where that is. But right here's another article. Life found about 3.3 billion years old in a South Africa rock. 3.3 billion years old. So I'm going to go into that clip real quick of skulls. We got giants in Sanskrit in the Bible. One report in the New York Times, October 3rd, 1892, describes some human bones of enormous size that were found in a burial mound in France, and acknowledged that these bones of a very tall race undoubtedly opened the questions of the giants of antiquity. Smithsonian Institution explored North American continent. They found evidence of tall white race of mound builders. In the late 1800s, the Smithsonian suppressed finds of giant skeletons. Giant skulls were also found in large numbers in Boskop, South Africa. The Boskop man. Since 1920s, Boskop skeletal remains are indistinguishable from that of modern human, except for his skull, which exemplifies a stage of evolution as far into the future beyond. I think that Atlanta is tied to Atlantis for sure. It's the ATL, right? The ATLians, outcast. Such a prominent, place for music and whatnot with Atlanta. So I think it definitely is tied into it. The ATL, I even tie it into just the phonetics of the ATL, and the Adler. The Adler is that symbol. That was a while ago when I talked about it. But let's get back into the news, and then I'll play a couple more clips as well. Let me figure out how to remove this. So Stranger Things, they're taking over even Google's algorithm. Google has the Jesuit's birthday, which is funny. But I see a 128 code up in here where it says 128 right there. And I was looking out for the 128 ritual to go down 2 days ago. And what went down was this 12B bill, which I thought it said 128. Doesn't it look like 128? I was like, oh my goodness, they did a 128 economic assistance on 128. But so that's the only thing that happened with that. But Stranger Things, they got this little machine thing, this dice, and it landed on 20. So I think that's the day maybe that it's being released, the next episode. I don't know, but maybe it could be pointing to the date of the 20th coming up, which is the day before the winter solstice rituals. And these creatures from the future, like these, they found that 33.3 billion year old life, like things could be going out and in and out through these portals. So that's what I was tying that into on this portal ritual. So the Zach Brown band, they're showing the underwater, they're showing above land, they're showing the stars. It's very cinematic. Here at the sphere, this orb. Wouldn't that be funny if this was the UFO and then flies away? Stranger Things is about the time. Time's running out for the end of the year, even though technically the end of the year ended a while ago. The calendar system changed. But this crown is interesting. And I was trying to find the symbolism of what is that crown that he's wearing, but not only Zach Brown wearing the crown, you even got the skeleton man wearing the crown. So there's two people wearing the crown. And I found this Chinese deity Menshin, who was the two gateway door gods, right? They protect the door. And that's literally what is showing here. So Zach Brown and the skeleton are the two door gods protecting the door. And so I was looking at the images and I was like, man, maybe it could be connected symbolically to this entity, because I don't know, the crown, you know. I could be tripping. I'd be tripping all the time. But sometimes when I be tripping so hard, I fall into the fifth dimension and then I'm like, whoa, I found something. And then I guess it ends with an angel and they're all wearing white. This is another thing that I've seen a pattern happening with this duality of the checkerboards of the Zach Brown band is love and fear, right? The left, the right hemisphere in a sense. But we see that same thing with other things like Avatar, fire and ash, love and fear. I'm sure there's something with the fire ice type ritual there, just something I'm pointing out. Other Illuminati celebrities are in the news with Billie Eilish, this doomsday cult who thinks the world's going to end and tells them, the kids, that they only got a couple months left, like a couple years ago. It's still here. Hit me hard and soft. Watch the first trailer for Billie Eilish 3D concert film directed by James Cameron. James Cameron goes into the vortices in the ocean as well with the submersibles and these billionaire rituals where billionaires disappear in the ocean while listening to Blink 182. And Billie Eilish, I've kept my eyes out on her for a while because she was the performer of the Olympics, right? And she's very connected to the socialist movement and the doomsday cult in America and worldwide. And Billie Eilish, her brother created the intro to Apple TV, the music to it. So when you hear the little bloom bloom sound on your Apple TV, it's pretty much the Eilishes brainwashing you hard with a little sound effect. That's why I've been looking out for her to maybe even show up at the Apple Super Bowl ritual, the superb owl ritual of the Super Bowls, where they've been showing the new genetic codes of some sort of blue blood type, some symbolism. You even got Taylor Swift, last album sparked a bizarre accusation of National Socialism. And this is like Rolling Stone magazine talking about this. This has been a long thing with her for a long time, how she's very much correlated to Adolf and the secret societies with the memetic magic. So the memes of Taylor Swift, you look up quotes from Taylor Swift going back like over like 8-10 years ago, is just quotes of Adolf, right? So interesting there. Taylor Swift hit by bot-fueled socialist conspiracies. Taylor Swift responds to fans who don't like the life of the showgirl. If you don't like it, I don't care. I mean, it's very symbolic, her being submerged under the water. There's so many different like paintings and stuff like that. And going back to Hamlet with Ophelia submerged in the water with her. So when we're seeing these artists on the world stage, nothing new under the sun in a sense, because they're just stealing art from other artists. And even this Ophelia Hamlet Act 4 Scene 7, why did she use this symbolism for the cover of her album? Act 4 Scene 7, well, she's got this big beef with President 47, right? I don't know. Could be some like occult stuff going on, some hidden meanings behind what's going on. Award chatter pod, Miley Cyrus on her avatar, Dream is One. She is 33 years old. So Miley Cyrus is 33 years old. Is she getting set up for the 33rd ritual? She just did the Fire and Ash avatar. She's an avatar. Oh my goodness, what is going on with all my slides? Let me exit out of some stuff. Okay, I'm just going to exit out of all these different slides because I have too many slides open and I didn't group them. I'll go back to the comments. Thank you, Charles Scollier. 5770 sends a $10 super chat and says, meow. Meow. Thank you. The kitty cat says thank you as well and says meow meow. Meow meow. Super super kitty cat. So I got this idea. What's your guys' thoughts on it? I'm going to be doing a kind of new thing, I think, on the channel called the Illuminati Dinner Party, right? I've had this concept in my head for a while, and y'all are invited to the Illuminati Dinner Party. So the Illuminati Dinner Party would just be a podcast where I would eat food and with someone else, and it would be in a fancy ball, but obviously that ain't gonna happen. So I was just thinking I'm just gonna do a new podcast called Illuminati Dinner Party, and then making it special where y'all can come to the dinner party, which is the freaking podcast. It's the podcast like the chicken wing podcast where people eat chicken wings. So I'm going to test it out this Friday. We're going to bring on a special guest. We'll do a live podcast and then maybe do it live on YouTube. But then if you want to like come on the show, I don't really know how it's going to work out. I'm going to figure it out. I'm kind of, that's the one thing is you got to just take action. And that's a reason why a lot of people don't like get anywhere with their dreams in a sense, is because of the overthinking and needing the perfectionism of I got to be ready before I start my project or whatever, rather than just jumping into the project and see what happens. So that's something I'm planning on doing this Friday, and I'm trying to figure it out. Maybe if y'all got some good ideas, let me know for the Illuminati Dinner Party podcast. Oh, here, let me. I'm going to exit out of some stuff and play a clip of. I'll play a clip of the mantises. by a praying mantis who is disguised as an amazingly, wherein a young philosopher is seduced by a praying mantis who is disguised as an amazingly beautiful woman. The philosopher is about to marry the mantis when the sagacious magician Apollonius breaks her spell on him by unmasking her. The charming bride was one of those vampires, popularly called Lamias or she-demons. They are very fond of love and even fonder of human flesh. This story picks up on the aspects of the mantis as a master of mimicry, with various types of mantids being able to disguising themselves as bark, leaves, and flowers. Of this mimicry of mantises, Kalios writes that it illustrates something haunting the human desire to recover its original insensate condition, a desire comparable to the pantheistic idea of becoming one with nature, returning to prenatal consciousness. Yeah. So Venezuela is all in the news right now. USA seizes oil tanker off Venezuela. Blockade fears serious escalation. This is something that we told y'all was going to happen on this channel for a long time. Like over a couple years ago, we've been saying it's coming. I think the beginning of me starting this channel, I said Venezuela is going to be the big news because of studying geopolitical movements in different societies, in different areas and proxies, and who's controlling different militaries. It was very obvious, and even symbolically with the Economist World Ahead of 2024, which was released in 2023. So in 2023, I showed this. I said, this is a slide from 2023 when we cover the big report, and I pointed to Venezuela. I even highlighted the importance of it, and that's why Venezuela is on the news now. It's the little Venice, which is interesting because the Venice structure goes back to the controllers. The controllers you can tie it all the way back to Venice. And the Doge, right? Why is there so much talk of Doge, this, Doge, this? Just those words. Doge is a title for the elected lord of the head of a state, notably in Venice. So this is all it's all crazy, but this is in the news. U.S. seizes oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. There's been a lot of this Venezuela stuff going on, which is the little Venice. What else is in the news? There's a lot of stuff in the news. Oh yeah, so there's this Christmas party, Secrets of Donald Trump Jr.'s Ultra Elite Club. And that's another thing. Look at their flyer. You got Busta Rhymes going there. Busta Rhymes, he is he got in trouble because he went against the lockdowns for a day. Then he backtracked and said, no, I love it. And then he was awarded by Viacom in the BET Awards. And now he's going to be there. And then he was also at the frickin' Macy parade. The parade that they do for Thanksgiving? Busta Rhymes is there. So that's kind of how you could pick who's going to be in the next rituals. Maybe it's Busta Rhymes going to be at the Super Bowl, but my bets are on Billie Eilish. But you could go to this elite dinner party. 50 people could go to it. That's why we're going to have our own Illuminati dinner party. Look at that. I mean, I think it's a fun idea moving into that direction. Other stuff in the news is these Waymo cars. Let me play that clip real quick.
Causing a traffic jam.
Yeah, so these Waymo cars causing the traffic jam. I told y'all this is what it was made for blocking the different intersections so people can escape during some sort of event, some kind of catastrophic type event, that you would have these cars block the different intersections so you can't get out. And this is Google, by the way. Waymo is Google. So it's also surveilling you. And what is happening with all this surveillance? Like they've done the double slit experiment or whatever it's called, where just us looking at something changes the dynamics of what it is. So what's happening with all these cameras looking at us on some other type of, dimensional level? I'm probably not explaining that
Of course, it's so.
that well.
This is so funny.
But I live in a smart city, so this stuff happens all the time. But yeah, it was definitely predicted programming in the movie Leave the World Behind, where they showed all the Teslas and all the Waymos. Interesting stuff in the news. What else? What else do we got for y'all in the Illuminati news section? Oh, a woman gives birth in a Waymo. Here's the gambling stuff. Gambling. I don't know. We'll continue. New polls. Oh, yeah. A new poll paints a grim picture of nation under financial strain. Rising costs crushing Americans, and they're running out of room to adjust. Let's see what else. Yeah, so Uranus is entering Gemini. Uranus. The Earth got slammed by a surprise solar flare yesterday. Slammed us. Porsches also across Russia mysteriously shut down. Is this a James Bond style cyber hit? Where I think it was like 30,000 Porsches just stopped working. Isn't that crazy? So you hop in your Porsche, it just don't work. And they don't know what it is. It's because of all the new technology. So 2013, those cars from 2013, when they started putting these tracking systems into the cars, those cars wouldn't start. MIT engineers design an aerial microbot that can fly as fast as a bumblebee. Mr. Beast, philanthropy, Rockefeller connection. Mr. Beast is now working with the Rockefellers for philanthropy, which is money laundering. A lot of these philanthropists are just money laundering. So yeah, that's the portal stuff. That's the Zach Brown band portal ritual. Please smash the likey poo, share the video out, and look out for the Illuminati party on Friday. Much love and God bless you.